This is what I'm trying to be today. Okay. Good morning. Mm, Today, I'm here to talk about cancel culture from the God POV. So, you know, I think based on a couple of conversations I've had, my bond looks so lopsided. We're working with it. We're working with it. It's what we got. We're gonna work with it. I think based on a couple conversations I've had, with a couple people, there's a view of God as this person who doesn't give second chances, who checks you, right? Checks you against what you've done per time, and then cancels you if you're not up to standard or measure. Now, I can't say I know how this became some people's view of God. I've had discussions where um people are referencing God's anger with the what's it called? The Egyptians, the Israelites rather, in the Bible when they left Egypt. People are referencing that. People are referencing instances of God doing one thing or the other to somebody. And this POV is first why I always maintain that the Bible is something you have to read extensively, because if you read it extensively in those stories, you will see the place of God's love, right? You will see that a lot of the actions that we've read about that feel like this was God being extra or telling one large story of love. But beyond that, is that there's a belief that God gets tired of misbehavior or misdemeanor. He gets tired of what we consider to be bad behavior, right? Um, I want to just clarify. That's what today's life is for. State that God does not do cancel culture. God doesn't do cancel culture. God is always there. In fact, how do I put it? There's this equation in math where um there's something called a constant, right? I was not the biggest fan of mathematics, so I can't remember all of it. But this I remember clearly. There's something called a constant, and there are things called variables. And in regards to our lives, God is the constant. What that means is He never leaves nor forsakes you. That is a constant. But because we are variable in a lot of ways, this means that we might leave and forsake Him and then feel like He left us. We might not be tuned to His presence, and that might suggest to us that He's no longer with us. And I've talked about this, repeatedly on this channel. I feel like it's a necessary discussion to have. God is a constant. He doesn't change. Scripture tells us that there is no shadow of turning with Him. There is no switch. There's no switch up. It's not something that will happen. God switching up on you is not something that will happen. And so, what this means is that you can live with the consciousness that God is not leaving you alone anytime soon. You can live with the consciousness that this God will always be with you. There is no point in this journey when He's not going to be with you. But like I said, I think I said this a couple days ago, is that while God will always be there, you may not be aware. And your lack of awareness is not on God, it's on you. And I used an analogy recently, the analogy of listening to the radio. When you're listening to the radio, there is a channel like 3.7, like 7.3. I think I referenced a specific channel, right? 97.3 is always gonna be there. If I turn on the radio now and tune into 97.3, I'll hear what they are saying, what is being said on that channel. If I tune out, I don't hear anything. It's basic. It's a given. A lot of times, the reason why we feel like God is not with us, God is not there, God can't see us, God can't hear us, is because we are not tuned. We are not there. And if you are not there, of course, you will feel like He is not there. But He is always there. You're the one that is not there. The first point of call for us at times like this, at this kind of crossroads, is to do that heart check, that self check. Where am I? Because you have to be able to recognize where you are. And if it feels, you know, irregularly lonely for some reason, if it feels like these days it's very quiet, you need to check where you are. Where are you? It's and one of the places that proved that to me is this part of Genesis where it says that in the cool of the evening, God came to look for Adam or Adam. Is that God is the one that is always there, interested in fellowship. You just need to key in. So when we hear the things like you're not alone, God is with you, there needs to be rather than a feeling of disbelief or uncertainty, it should inform confidence in you. Confidence that God is actually with you. Because He is. Oftentimes we make the mistake of thinking that God being with us is a loud, dramatic thing. And I've said this a lot. I've said this so many times on this channel. That God being with you is not something that will be noisy. But it's something you will know. But you can't know this if you are constantly ignoring His prompt, if you're constantly ignoring His presence. I was speaking to a friend the other day and she was saying that she wanted God to speak to her, right? And she's like, I was just waiting for a word from God. I was just waiting for a word from God. I just wanted God to speak to me. I just wanted to hear something. I just wanted God to, say something to me. And in that moment, it was like she was waiting for a scripture or and so while I was talking to her, I had to tell her, I said, look, God can speak to us through anything. God, you can literally be walking by observing the trees wave, do their little melody, and that will remind you of praising God. God can literally speak to us through anything. I mean, I talked about this in the throwing away of the box, which I wanted to continue, and I just remembered right now. Gosh, I guess I'll continue, either way. But God, the point of this is God doesn't do cancel culture. God doesn't say, you are what God doesn't like to see is the sin. It's not you. It's the sins that you're committing that He doesn't want to see. It's the things you're indulging in that you shouldn't indulge in that He doesn't want to see. He always wants to see you. He's always happy to see you, to hear from you, to speak with you. But you have to be accepting of that presence. You have to be accepting of that presence. You have to, a place in your heart has to accept that God is. It says that those who come to Him must know that He is and is a rewarder of them who diligently seek Him. So it has to start with you knowing that He is, accepting His business, accepting His being. And that's a struggle for most people. But I'll tell you something, the average person has a gap for belief in them. The average person has a space in them that only the supernatural can fill. The average person has a hole in them that nothing physical in this life can fill. The average person. The only thing that will fill those places is something supernatural. And that's not something that you can get anywhere. And it's why a lot of people will constantly feel like they're searching for something. Like you have a perfect life, you are married to the love of your life, you're earning well, you've got a good home, you're not in debt, but something feels missing. Something feels missing. It feels like something is out. Is that supernatural hole in you that needs filling. That's not something that anything can fill. Not even what you consider the perfect life. I read or heard or something somewhere, and it says there's a God-shaped hole in everyone. And so what that means is there's always going to be a part of you that needs God. And the earlier you acknowledge that, the easier your life will be. The earlier you accept that something in you needs God, the easier that will be. The earlier. It's like deciding that you don't need to eat to survive. To be honest, you might actually pull it off for a couple days, maybe even a couple weeks. Then you will lose all the weight. You become very tiny, you know, and you keep it going. But at some point, something in you will cry out for nourishment. Not because you cannot go without food, but because your body was made to grow and survive through being nourished, by being nourished. Because your body was made to grow and survive by being nourished. At some point, your body will cry out for nourishment. Even if you've survived on water for 20 days, 40 days, more, at some point, you will know that your body needs nourishment. And you will have to put something in your body. It's that knowing. It's that constant knowing. It's that knowledge of the fact that I need God. I'm looking for a more basic example. For instance, if you don't brush, this was my example for some months on here, and I let it go, but it's just come back. For instance, if you don't brush your mouth, are you going to be able to chew? Yes. Are you going to eat good food? Yes. Will you be able to taste the food? Yes. But at some point, if you don't brush, it's going to start affecting your teeth. At some point, your teeth will start to weaken, might even fall out if you don't brush and you continue to eat. Can you function well? Yes. Does your mouth work? Yes. But do you feel like in the mornings when I wake up and I don't brush, there's a taste, there's a feeling, even if I brushed the night before, there's a taste, there's a feeling in my mouth that's just not quite right. And even if you eat and you move about your day, there's a feeling. And at some point, you might get used to it, it's how we get used to staying. You might get used to it, you might become comfortable, like, okay, this doesn't feel weird anymore. But then what you notice is your teeth will just start to weaken and then your teeth will fall out. Because what is needed for the teeth to stay strong and healthy is not being given. And it's the same vein. It's more us than him. Because there's that hole, there's that thing that we need. And that thing that we need is God. And God doesn't cancel. God doesn't ignore. God doesn't chase away. Excuse me. God doesn't reject. He says, if you come, no one who comes to me, I will in no wise turn away. I'm trying not to paraphrase, but my internet is wonky this morning, so I'm not getting the thing to load on my laptop. I won't turn you away. It's clear on that. You come. I will not turn you away. But you have to come first. The coming has to happen. We struggle with that. That alone we struggle with. It's like there's a place where something in us does not want to admit that we need God. But we need God. We need that source. We need that strength. And if God will not cancel us, then we need to know that God is always there. He's always available to listen. He's always available to help. Hmm. I'm feeling something. Something is stressing me right now. I feel like this life was not picked up by this internet. It feels like this life did not come online. Oh jeez. Finally feels like I'm alone in this life. Wow, my battery is going down 1% per minute. I need to check if this live is online. Oh my gosh, this thing is stressing me out. This this internet, this live. I can't tell if I'm online or not. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Baruch Hashem Adonai. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Baruch Hashem Adonai. Blessed. I don't think I'm live. I don't think I'm live. Oh my gosh. Guy, like why is this happening today again? Ah, Jesus help me. This is gonna happen every day I try to do it live. Why is the thing not even connecting? Oh my gosh. I don't think I'm live. Miracle full everywhere. Testimony. Ay, 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 ay. Yep, I'm not live. I'm not live. I'm not live, God. Just end it. Oh wait, I'm live? Am I? Oh Jesus. Oh my God. Now you do this one. I won't lip liner for this for crying out loud. I think that's what matters. Been speaking for almost 20 minutes. Evidence full everywhere. If you are looking for the evidence of a person with Papa don't bless, look no further. Look at me rather. Evidence full everywhere. Ay, 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 ay. Evidence full everywhere. Testimony. Oh my God. I don't think I'm live. Oh my God. Now you do this one. Evidence you full everywhere. If you are looking for the evidence, let me just end it because I can't confirm. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Of a person with Papa don't bless. Look no further. Come on, look at me. Evidence full everywhere. Evidence. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm not live. Jesus. I'm live. I just spent 2 full minutes on this. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I confirmed that I'm live. I don't know. I'm gonna have to cut this whole bit out if you're watching this later. I don't know because I was just here like I don't think I'm live. I don't think I'm live because the internet wasn't working here or on the laptop. Anyways, I just wanted to check that I'm live. I have, so gonna move on with my life now. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, God doesn't do cancel culture. The door is always open. His arms are always stretched out. Someone is always knocking, right? Someone is always knocking. Let me see if I can pull my Bible up now, because the internet seems to be working, right? And I want to read the scripture that I was referencing earlier. Why can't I speak English? The scripture that I was referencing earlier, which is that if any man comes to me, anyone who comes to me, I will in no wise turn away. Right? So this is in John chapter 6. Um, and this is of course Jesus talking. And he's very clear. He's very straightforward, he's very clear on this, right? Because for 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 Jesus, when he was referencing this, it was that he recognized that everyone who comes is given to him by the Father. And he was saying that all that the Father giveth me shall come to me. The Bible is not, the internet is, oh my gosh, the internet is crazy bad today. It's not coming up, which is why I was scared that I'm not live, you know. And it says that anyone who comes to me, I will in no wise turn away. So it's that even Jesus is conscious of the fact that people come and sometimes they expect to be turned away. You know, the biggest proof for me that God doesn't do cancel culture, by the way, is Jesus when he's on earth and he's relating with tax collectors and people that by human standards would be regarded as sinners. And this is why I said the other day, the only standard that you need to follow is the standard of God, not the standard of man, not the, so it means that people can see you and say, that's an outcast right there. That's a weirdo. That's whatever really. But the point for you, the point of rest for you, of confidence and knowledge for you, is that you are following God. You're looking up to Jesus at every point in time. And if you come, God does not turn people away. One of the biggest proof of this is Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is a tax collector. He's by law of standards just a mess, right? And he goes and he's like, I gotta see Jesus. Like, I want to see Jesus. And he climbs the tree just so he can see. And that is so cool in that God does not ignore his effort, right? Jesus doesn't ignore his effort. Jesus looks at him and says, tonight I'm coming to your house to supper. And this is the person whom, by every stretch of the imagination, by all the standards, the Christian standards, the spiritual standards, does not measure up because, he's a sinner, he's a bad guy. He's just amassing the wealth for himself. He's like a corrupt politician, if you will. But the desire to see God is always honored. God always honors desire to see him. If you desire to see him, he will always honor it. If you desire God, God will always honor that desire. So if you think that by the standards, right, of being a child of God, by the standards of Christianity, by some sort of standard, you're falling short of the measure, you're falling short of what it means to be a child of God, you're falling short of what it means to be loved and accepted by God. I would say to you, start by seeking God and see what happens. God always honors the desire to see him. Anyone who comes to me, I will in no wise turn away. It's there in the scriptures. I will in no wise turn away. So it means all you have to do is come. There are no standards. I say this a lot. There are no standards. Whatever you think you want to become, whoever you think you should be in God that you aren't yet, come first and see something. Like I always say, try me first and see something. When I'm threatening people, I say, try me first and see something. For God is come first and see something. You just come. Bro, I just saw my hairline. That's not looking pretty. That's a black girl hairline right there. I don't got my edges are gone. But yeah, let me not digress. Come first and see something. Come first and see something. That will always be where the peace and the deliverance is in your coming. I cannot emphasize it. God won't cancel you. It doesn't and we may say that we are no, so this is not a license to keep doing the wrong things or living a life you know you shouldn't live. This is a call to understand the grace that is available to you. It's a call to be conscious of the grace and access you have in God. If you come, He won't turn you away. But it must start with you coming. You have to come. You cannot stay away from the coming. But God is there, ready to accept you. He's not ignoring you. He's there. You are the one who has to tune into the frequency. It doesn't matter what you've done. God has not cancelled you. God will never cancel you. God will never say this one. The thing about cancel culture is it's like it's telling you you messed up. You don't deserve any love, any attention, any whatever that you've got. You don't deserve it. That's what cancel culture is doing. God is doing the opposite. It's telling you, in spite of what you've done, you still deserve the love. You will always be deserving of love with God. There will never be a reason to feel like God doesn't like you. Again, it will be you tuning in. God doesn't do cancel culture. God doesn't do ignoring His children. God doesn't do any of that. God doesn't do any of that. By His very nature is love. So He can't help but love. Just by His nature, He will only give you love. Even when you feel like God is chastising you, Scripture tells us that whom He loves, He corrects, He chastises. It will always be love first with God. This is why you need to come boldly, not overthinking it, not stressing over whether you'll be accepted, not stressing whether there's anything for you yet. Come boldly. Come boldly. God's standards are not as high as you think they are. God's standard, the barrier to entry here is very low. You enter first. Whatever else will happen in your life, it will be by His grace. But His standards for entry are very low. His standards for entry are you willing? Come. God's standard for entry is just curiosity and willingness. You just come first. Just curiosity. If there's a question in your heart about the Lord, He's willing to answer, but you need to be able to ask Him. The barrier to entry here is very low. Very low. You don't need to do the most. You don't need to do the most. There's no dramatic here. There's no. You don't need to do a lot. Start with the curiosity. I want to know you, God. That's all. Very low barrier to entry. You just come first and see something. Come. And that's all I have to say today. God will never cancel you. God will never see you as unworthy of His love. God will never see you as, you know, and unnecessary existence. Will never see you as not deserving. You just come. That's what you gotta do. Yeah, that's what I came to say today. We are 30 minutes in, and yeah, I feel like I've said what I, in fact, I feel like I said what I need to say at that 5 minutes, to be honest. But then I started worrying about whether that was enough. And I'm realizing that with this life, it's okay to just say what needs to be said. If it's 10 minutes, or if it's 15 minutes, or if it's 2 minutes, that needs to be enough. Um, yeah. So I won't be surprised if only the first 5 minutes of this live or the first 10 minutes is all that is watched, to be honest. But if you're watching now or you're watching in the replay, I usually can't tell who's watching. The thing usually just shows me zero most of the time, and then when I end the live, I see that people were watching. But if you're watching this now, if you're watching later, I'd just like to remind you, God doesn't do cancel culture. He's a constant. He'll always be there. You just need to tune in. You just need to align your frequency. It will always be there. That's all I came to say today. Love from North Korea. Iberede Mumo. I'm not sure that Iberede Mumo. I'm not sure that that's a North Korean name. I speak Korean, you see. So your name is interesting, but all right. Um, yeah, that's all I came to say today, anyway. But if you're from North Korea, if you are in North Korea, interesting. I hope you're okay. I hope a part of me feels like that's internet trolling, but I don't know. I just take everything with an open mind because I don't know. But yeah, I hope you're good. I hope you're having a great day. I have come to the end of my life, but I hope to see you here in the next one, which is gonna be tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for joining. Iberide Mumu. Iberide Mumu feels like a very Nigerian name, by the way, just saying. But yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you. If this spoke to you in any way, this encouraged you, this reminded you of anything, then I'm blessed already because that's why I do this like this every day between the hours of 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. WAT. I did say that I'm considering doing it at any other point during the day, just because these days there's been a lot of power issues. I have some personal technical issues with my devices. It's been crazy. Like today, I took like a chunk of this, like maybe 3 minutes, checking if I was streaming. I need a new phone. Anyways, um, I might start doing the lives just randomly at any point during the day. So I'm gonna test run that and see how that looks like or how that works, and we'll go from there. But yeah, that's all, and I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye.